Uh-huh. All right, so okay, now that I got this up on the right slide. Like I said, this shouldn't take us very long. Oh, you guys are gonna want paper versions, like you normally do. It'll let loose. Do we all want paper versions of this? It should be fairly short. It's one-sided. If for some reason we do end up going remote, and if you want to print out your own and follow along, but I think that that's actually easier if I'm having to teach you via remote, and that way you don't have to like flip flop between screens and you have to have your own printer. So that's good. Okay, now that that's out, openers and canvas are about to go. Yes. I mean, I still have to get through stuff. I don't try to go too fast, really.
You go really fast because like you have to watch what you're doing, then click on the next one, type it in, and then have to go back.
Oh, you're talking about if it's because that's what I just said. So if you have access to a printer, and I mean, I'm not asking you to like buy a poop ton of ink or anything, that if you had it, it would be easier than trying. You know, you can split screen, right? I forget what the key function is for it, but I know there's a way where you can put them side by side.
Yes, all you get is you bring it down and it shows like a little white square on the screen. Look, this. See it, that's that.
What are you listening to?
I got no bad words. All right, so let me get into the.
I didn't say that.
She almost did. Started to. All right, so anyways, let me get to the opener because I know some of you have questions, and as much as I'm not supposed to like stand next to you, I have to because I have to see what you're doing wrong. We use prefixes with covalence. Okay, we don't use, hold on, shh. We don't use charges with this type. Okay, you don't have to look up charges. We don't have to deal with Roman numerals. We don't have to deal with any of that stuff. So somehow I need to figure out, I'm about to break through this again. You don't know how to make this not do this. Let me take this. I'm about to break the thing on my ID. So no polyatomics, no parentheses, no charges, no crisscrossing, none of that. No Roman numerals, none of that today. It's so much simpler. But what we do need, hold on, what we do need are prefixes. Because prefixes tell you how many. So let's see if you guys know any prefixes. Do you know a prefix for one? Okay, now I'm going to say you probably know uno. Okay, that's not the one that we use in chemistry. That's not wrong. Can you think of another prefix that means one? It's a board game where the goal of the game is to be the only one that controls it. You know what the name of that game is? Has paper money? Monopoly. Okay, so mono means one. And then the guy that has that one glass, that's called a monocle. That's right, one. Okay, so in chemistry, I mean, uno is not wrong. Okay, and actually, prime means one. And there's a couple others that mean one, but in chemistry, we use mono. Okay, what about two? Do you know a prefix for two? Di, okay, and that is the one that we use in chemistry. Okay, and the other one that you probably know is bi. Okay, but we don't use bi, and we use di, like dice. Di, just di. Well, not like you kill something, not that die. Okay, what about three? Tri, like a tricycle. It's the one that we use. TRI.
That's
Okay, what about 8? Octo, like an octopus or an octagon. See, it came on. It's actually going to get warm for you guys. Enjoy it for the few minutes while it lasts because it's going to get this cold again real quick. Huh? Oh, it's just because it just kicked on. It's anytime a heater just kicks on, it's got to blow the cold air out of the pipes before. I'm sorry, yeah, you're like right underneath it.
Okay, we need 1, 2, 3,
That's
8.
nice.
What we just did them.
Oh,
So yeah, that's what I just did.
I was 4.
Well, I skipped 4, 5, and 6 because
And I thought you said 4.
no, I only did 1, 2, 3, and 8. All right, so let's get this off. Let me unfreeze my screen. I'm going to double check the attendance again real quick and then do inline. All right, so molecular and covalent mean the same thing. You need to understand that. Teachers will go back and forth between those. We have 2 major types of compounds we write formulas for. Ionics, which are the ones that take all the extra work, and the covalents, or molecular, same thing, which are a billion times easier. You do not need Roman numerals. I need to start doing my attendance in person. You do not need charges. Okay, you do. Oh, I just pushed the wrong button. Here. No, I pushed the wrong button. I apologize. The Roman numerals were only needed with ionic compounds, and those were the metals that were to the right of group 2, except for aluminum and cadmium and zinc and silver. You don't have to. There's only one little thing that you need to pay attention to with the covalents. I don't remember what's on your notes and what's not. Let me take a look at it. Okay, so covalent compounds are only non-metals. There are not metals at all. And if the first thing that you see is carbon or sulfur, what's the matter? You have a question?
Yeah.
What's
Capital O, capital H, how many is that?
That's not an element. That's a polyatomic ion. That's one of, I have one up here, and I can make these. One of these. If it's more than one capital letter, it's on here. As I said, you need to, and guys, your quiz over group 1 and group 2 on the polys is tomorrow. I will make some more. How many of you need another copy of this chart? I mean, it's in Canvas. You found it. Okay. All right. I forget where I was now. So if the first thing you see is a non-metal, it's covalent, and you don't have to do any of the stuff that I taught you yesterday. None of it. If the first thing you see is a metal, or if it's ammonium, the NH4 plus 1, that's when you have to do what we did yesterday. So no Roman numerals, no polyatomic ions, no parentheses, none of it, not today. That happens, the stuff, once again, all these dang rules that people are like, this is too much. Like, I'm getting lost. That's if it's ionic. The only thing that you need is a prefix for covalent. Prefix tells you how many. Like, what are you breathing out right now? What's the name of the gas? You breathe in oxygen and you breathe out carbon dioxide. So guess how many oxygens are in carbon dioxide? Woo. Guess how many carbons there are if there's no prefix? 1. Like, you. Like, you just haven't been taught. Like, oh, that's why we say it that way. The stuff that generators put out that kills you, carbon monoxide. Guess how many oxygens are in carbon monoxide?
4.
Monoxide.
1.
Mono. Wait, see, you don't say monooxide. You drop the extra vowel. That's one of the only little things that are different today.
4.
No, I didn't teach you 4. All right, so excuse me. So you taught yourself that? Well, that's not right. Okay, so there's no charges, there's no crisscrossing, there's no parentheses, there's no Roman numerals. You need to know your prefix. And we did what? 1, 2, 3, and 8. Now, your first element only has a prefix if there's more than one. So carbon dioxide, which is CO2, and carbon monoxide, which is CO. That carbon, there was no prefix. There's one of them. What's the matter? What happened? You lose something? You sure? Okay. It's all right. I do it too. I'm sure y'all have noticed that when I'm thinking and I get frustrated, I have zero oral control. Like, at least I don't say bad words, but it just got to talk stuff out. Your second element will always have a prefix, and it's going to end in "ide." All covalent compounds end in "ide." The second thing, you still don't change the ending in the first guy. That's still true from yesterday. Oh, it's starting to warm up finally.
Yeah.
My hands out in the hall, they were like red. I was so cold. Now, like your nose and your ears turn red when it's cold. It was painful. Like I said, enjoy it while it's still going because it's going to take it over an hour to kick back on again. Okay, so we use prefixes. The first one only gets a prefix if there's more than one. If there's one, it does not get a prefix. You do not change its ending. The second one always gets a prefix, even if it's one, like carbon monoxide. And the ending of the second thing is always "ide." There are no ites or eights with these. That is ionic. That's the one with all the dang rules that's driving people nuts. And if I had a way, like a stupid way to say it to make it stick, I would tell you I don't. I do when we do acid nomenclature, but I don't with ionic and covalent. Anybody still need this one for any reason? Oh, you know what? I meant to change the things that fill in the blanks to a different color, and I forgot to do it this morning. I apologize. Does that help you when I put the blank thing in a different color?
Yes.
Okay, hold on here. Okay, I meant to do it this morning, and I didn't do it. So where are we at? Looking at charges. And then they use prefixes. I personally do not like using red. I don't know. Not that like I hate red. I just don't like reading red. Prefix if there is more than one. And then always gets a prefix and ends in "ide." Okay, so that's that one. Let me go back and change the first one real quick. Made up of nonmetals only. I know it's helping my 6th period a lot. My other class that I teach, they're very slow when it comes to typing. Whoops, wrong blue. And then polyatomic ions. All right, so if I go to the next slide, we get to the right thing. All right, so here, let's see here, when we are, okay, so we do not write a 1 as a subscript. I'm gonna come back and change the colors in a second when I go through here. Just like that's also true for ionics. We do not write 1s as subscripts. If you wrote the element, you have at least 1. If you have more than 1, you need to tell me how many. You do not reduce. All these little things that we had to do, we don't have to do with this one. Whatever the prefix says, even if it's like 2 and 4, you leave it 2 and 4 with moleculars. You don't have to write this one because it's already down on there. You're going to grasp this pretty quick, and you're going to finish today's pretty quick, and then you're going to go, I need help with yesterday's. This is how it's going to go once we're done. So if it starts with a metal or ammonia, this is the only positive poly, then you have to do all the stuff we did yesterday. If it starts with a non-metal, then you don't have to do the stuff that we did yesterday. You're going to do the prefixes. Let me change all the colors to blue here. Not reduce. Not reduce, that's right. Starts with a metal or ammonia. Non-metal, it is covalent. Now, I think on this one, they're mixed. Yesterday's was all ionic. The top part was binary and the bottom part was ternary. Yes, this one does both. The top part is all going to be the new stuff, but the bottom part is a mixture of ionic and covalent. So you have to figure out which naming rule is going to be used. And what I will do, as long as we have enough time, is we're going to at least identify if they are ionic or covalent down on the bottom part of the assignment, which I have up here. I'll pass out. Y'all are ready. Are y'all ready for the prefixes? Nobody still needs this? Oh, it's so nice and toasty in here right now. It's going to change. All right, prefixes. One is mono. Okay. Two is di. I think it's opposite on you guys. Three is tri. We got all of these. We also said 8 was octa. Now, 4, I have people, they're like, oh, that's quad. Not in chemistry, it's not. It's tetra. I probably drew the Tetris blocks on the board one day. They call it Tetris because each piece, I don't care what it looks like, had 4 little bits in it. Why it's called Tetris? It's just the one that we use. 5 is penta. 6 is hexa, just like hexagons and pentagons. 7 is hepta, not sept. Hepta. 8 is octa, that's one octagon, octopus. 9 is nona, and 10 is deca. Y'all do know that our calendar used to have 10 months in it, right? Not 12? Did your history classes ever teach you that?
Yeah.
Did you know the 2 months that were added in from the Roman Empire, they were named after which two Caesars? Julius Caesar? That's July. And so you got January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Then we had August. We used September, October, November, December. That's why the months are called that at the end. But when they stuck June and July in between them, it messed everything up. That's why December is called December, as it used to be the 10th month, and it just stuck, even though it's not the 10th month anymore, it's the 12th month. They just didn't add those 2 months in until the Caesars came along. Way back when. So we're going to use these prefixes. And here's the only little tricky thing. When you have the second element is oxygen, which I don't think I put this on here. You can just sort of write it on the side if you want to. The ones that end in O, mono, or if it ends in A, tetra, penta, all the other ones, not the ones that end in I, you drop the last letter of the prefix and then you put the oxide on it. So it's not monooxide, it's monoxide. It's dioxide, it's trioxide. It's not tetraoxide, it's tetroxide, pentoxide, hexoxide, heptoxide, octoxide, dinoxide, and decoxide. It's the only little thing. And honestly, it's technically not right if you put both vowels on there. Miss Cowan is the one that keeps making the test. I don't think she's going to be that mean when she makes it. Uh-oh. It just stopped. It's going to get so cold so fast. I don't think the insulation is great on this side of the school. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's gonna, listen, how warm did it get to? It's got to 69 degrees, it says. It is warmer than 69 degrees in here. In fact, here, I can tell you. Let me get my weather station. It's gonna have to take it a second to, because it was in the box. It's rising. It's 72 right now. I'll let it sit there. It's gonna cool off so fast because the insulation is horrible in here. We're gonna take a look at making some of these samples, and like I said, I expect you guys to be able to go through this rather quickly. And really, if you don't understand, this is the easier of the two. This is much easier to fix than yesterday's. What is carbon's symbol? Capital C. Now, don't worry about the prefix quite yet. Sulfide comes from sulfur. What is sulfur symbol? S. If there's not a prefix on carbon, what did we say it was? How many? If there's no prefix, just one. And then di means how many?
2.
And so the prefix tells you how many of the element that it's attached to. So what would you write for carbon disulfide?
1 carbon for every selection.
But what would you see? Like tell me, like in letters and numbers, what would you write?
CS2.
CS2. This is really all we're doing. It's just a matter of learning your prefixes. Yeah, it's hovering right at 72, so. Finish that one. And so then the next one, dinitrogen tetrahydride. And if you notice, we don't change, for those of you that are remote and move my cursor, you don't change the ending of the first guy. You change the ending of the second guy. So I have nitrogen. This comes from hydrogen. How many nitrogens are you going to have?
4.
No. I was like, how many nitrogens? Di means 2. Tetra means
4.
So what would you write? Yes. Every year I teach this, people are like, this is so much easier. Why don't we do this one first? It's just the order that every chemistry teacher does it. We do the ionics first. I need to double check online here real quick. I'm missing people. I can't remember if there's another one on the slide. No, there's not. Okay, now before I move on to the other two examples, are there questions? Really, you should be able to fly through the top part of today's quickly. It's the bottom part you got to figure out. Is it today's rules or was it yesterday's rules? The bottom part's going to take you more. Let's do the other two then. Push it back in. Diphosphorus trioxide. Okay, phosphorus is a capital P. Oxide comes from oxygen, which is a capital O. Please do pay attention to your capitalization. That will get things marked wrong if you're not writing it correctly. Di means 2. Come on, cursor. Di means 2 and tri means 3. Let's see, Sebastian is not here. I got to go online and check online here. So what would you write for a formula?
P2O4.
Xenon is Xe. Fluoride is fluorine, which is the F. Xenon does not have a prefix, so it's going to have 1. Hexa means how many? 6. That's the hardest part, is knowing that tetra's 4, penta's 5, hexa's 6, hepta's 7. Like, that's the hardest part, is just, a lot of them, like, okay, tri I get, mono I get, octal I get, like, but it's just learning your prefixes. So the formula would be X, capital X, lowercase e, capital F, and then a 6 subscript. So you guys are like, are there any questions on the molecular ones at all? Okay, now let me give you guys the assignment paper, because the top part, I expect you guys to do the top part seriously, maybe 5 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes. I want to go over the bottom part so we can identify which type of nomenclature rules are we using, the easy ones from today. Now, I want to do this together. I'm not going to do the answers for you, but we're going to identify and use ionic. We have quite a bit of time, so I need to double check online. Don't put that away, because it's going to cool off quickly. You said it's already full? All right, let me pull up online real quick. Oh, see, here they all are. Alexis, Caitlin, Luke. I got Slate already. Veronica, Brianna. I got Brianna, Veronica. And then let me finish this and then we'll go on. Because I need to pull up the, I got so much stuff on here. Wow. Because I know some of you need help with yesterday's. I know you do. What the heck did I do with my? There it is. I also made some more copies of the periodic table with the charges on the top. That's gonna bruise. If any of you need another copy, okay, so online, here, online. Not here, online. Here. Okay, Sebastian, Mark Sebastian. Sebastian's not here. Daily Kyle. On a it's either control comma or control.
Canvas,
Oh, on Canvas, it's that T.
You put that down there.
That T thing will do either a superscript or a subscript. Okay, I don't see Matthew. Robert, yes. Valerie online. Veronica. No, I don't see Valerie online. Let's see. Okay, Veronica is online. Oh my gosh, this is so confusing because it's so different. I don't see Aiden. Eva. Okay, I think I got that. All right, I'm going to change the way that I'm presenting, and I'm going to present my whole slide so that they can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to go into my drive and into my chemistry, writing formula compounds 2. Isn't that what this one's called? Yes, writing formula compound 2. Yes. So if you had not done it, go ahead and open up the assignment for those of you that are remote. Okay, now this top part, some of you may have already finished the top part. Like it's all covalent, all of it, every single last bit of it. But this bottom part, we have a combination. Let me make this a little bit bigger. We have a combination of binary ionic, okay, ternary ionic, and then also molecular. What you need to do first is you need to take a look at this first atom and determine if it's a metal or a non-metal. What is silver? Is silver a metal or a non-metal?
Metal.
So is it going to have ionic rules or covalent rules? Ionic. Okay, so I don't know if you want to write an I next to number 1 or a C next to number 1. Like I said, covalent, molecular, whichever one you prefer, they mean the same thing. But if it's ionic, then what you're going to have to do is when you write your symbols out, you need to go back and find your charges, which if you need any periodic table with the charges on the top, you lost yours, whatever, I'll pass those out in a second. Number 2, iodine. Is that a metal or a non-metal? It's a non-metal, so this is covalent. So this is, y'all, if you see a prefix anywhere, you do today's. See this prefix? See this prefix? Another one here. Okay, here's another one. Those are all covalent if you see a prefix. If you don't see a prefix, it's ionic. Molybdenum, okay, this is and it specifically has a charge of how much, how positive, if it's a V. 5. Okay, so this is ionic, and because you can't look on the periodic table, so if you see Roman numerals, you're going to be using ionic rules. Molybdenum is, I believe it's MO. Where's my periodic table? I believe. It is in the center right here. It is MO. Molybdenum is actually used to make rims in cars. MO?
In between NG and TC.
Yes.
And the CI and both.
Yep. Okay, and then manganese, I can already tell that this is ionic. Manganese has a positive how much charge? What is VII? 7. So I know that, because anything that has a Roman numeral is going to follow yesterday's. Where manganese is not Mg, it is Mn. And you should know oxygen's charge is -2 by now, because we use oxygen all the dang time. All the time. The tin, which is Sn, not Ti. Ti is titanium. IV is how much of a positive charge? +4. Right. Tin, Sn. Sn is over here in group 4. Tin can either be +2 or +4. This one happens to be +4. Who got in trouble? You did.
Are you still?
Okay. Okay. Give me the tendency in you for just a second. I have no idea why. I don't know. Okay, so over here, the copper 2. I'm just gonna start. Oh shoot. They would probably have sent you a pass. Attendance office up front. Okay, so the copper 2 is positive how much? If it's I, it's positive how much? 2. This gold is positive how much? I is how many? 3. Oh, that is way too old.
No.
Yeah, that is way too old. And then this one that's left, number 7, this is also ionic. Okay, zinc does not need a Roman numeral because zinc is always +2. Okay, let me stop this. Stop the recording. I'm going to turn the light on here real